La Légion marche vers le fond, en chantant nous suivons. Héritiers de ces traditions, nous sommes avec elle. Nous sommes les hommes.
Okay, on this episode of Will It Fire, we have a French Moss 4956, the Cold War era battle rifle for the French military. I think this rifle went into service in the early 50s, came out of service in, I think, the early 70s, maybe late 70s, was replaced by the Moss rifle, if I'm not mistaken. But again, one of those iconic Cold War era rifles, and I do have a Cold War era collection, and this is my latest edition. I got this, I sort of held off on the 4956 because all that you could really get were those rifles from, what's it called, Royal Tiger, and I just don't have the skill set or the time to try to bring those back to life. But came across Old Western Scrounger. The French military had some of these locked in some caves. They released them, and Old Western Scrounger was importing them into the country, and they are in remarkable condition. So we're going to see if it fires, and stay tuned. Okay, one of the things you do have to be careful with is the original firing pin on these rifles was really meant for, I think it runs 7.5 French is what they call it. Pretty close to 751 NATO from what I understand. But at the end of the day, this firing pin is really meant for heavier primers than what you can find on the commercial markets in the day. So the rifle's prone to slam fires. There are some solutions out there. I got a new firing pin from Murray's Gunsmithing out of Texas. And, you know, you may want to check that out if you have one of these. I would still be really careful with this thing just in case. But we'll go ahead and see what we think here. Let's load up a magazine. And you got to love the magazine. There's like a clip here. It basically locks it into place. So, okay, did it chamber? Yes, it did. All right. And that's the safety, sort of flips down and blocks you. But we'll put that back up. All right, will it fire? I'm going to get my hand out of the way. We'll just send a round down range here. Oh, yeah. Wow. That's a little bit of a punch. There's some serious gas in that. Let's try another one. Okay, round two. All right. Now we'll hold it. Let's see if we can get a couple of rapid ones out of here. All right, both hold open, it fired. I am super stoked, man. That is fantastic. Excellent. All right, let's put up a clean target. Let's just see where this thing is hitting on paper, and we'll have a little bit of fun. We'll try to do just a little more serious aiming here and see where this thing is hitting. These magazines are a real trip. And then, let's see, how do we send this? Okay. All right, let's see. I'm going to assume a lollipop hold here, and man, that sight is thick. Holy cow. Off safety. I'll tell you, the reset's pretty nice. Heavy trigger. That's probably the heaviest I've ever felt. Oh, that was the last one. I think we got one round left. Let's just send it down. Yep. All right, let's go see how we did. Okay, I would say fairly accurate. If you see the infield session, again, it's going low, so I have a feeling these things were zeroed at a much further distance. Maybe 150 to 200 yards. Again, being that it's in France, maybe it's 200 meters. But certainly it seems to be on point. I've got my target upside down here. Apologize for that. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All rounds in the magazine were fired. They're on paper, looks like, and fairly accurate. Probably about a, I don't know, 5-inch MOA there. So I was a little concerned. If you see the session where I'm preparing this thing for the range, I didn't see any distinct rifling, but based on what I see here, it looks fairly accurate. Again, we probably want to take it out to a longer range, but all in all, I would say that is pretty good. So we'll call it good. Does it fire? Yes, it does.
Nous sommes avec elle. Nous sommes les hommes des troupes d'assaut, soldats de la vieille légion. Demain brandissant nos drapeaux, en vainqueur nous défilerons. Nous n'avons pas seulement des armes.
All right, the French Moss 4956 Cold War era battle rifle worked flawlessly today. Long history of this rifle, the development of this rifle. Watching some of the videos on YouTube. The mechanism is a pure direct impingement. If you want to talk direct impingement or DI, this is probably the one that you want to talk about. This gas just blows directly back. That's what brings the mechanism back. Worked really well. A little bit of a kick to the 7.5 French round, at least for me. And all in all, really good feel to it. A little bit heavy, the magazine's a little wonky, but all in all, wonderful experience. I think this was probably refurbed. I could not find a date anywhere on the receiver of when that refurb date was, but the stock does not have a cartouche. I think the original stocks did. These do not, so I know that it's been refurbed. It's a G serial number, so I think as far as I can trace it back, sometime in the early 60s is when this thing was built. So will she fire? Yes, she will. The French Moss 4956.
Le diable marche avec nous, car nos aînés